Yeah, okay. There's only 3 overlaps. The biggest one is the Capricorn and Aquarius overlapping each other for more than 11 degrees, for 11 degrees, 15 minutes. And that's inside the tropical zodiac of Aquarius. There's Capricorn and Aquarius constellation there, overlapping, double duty. In the sidereal zodiac, that's between 17 or 18 degrees and 29 degrees of Capricorn. It's in that area where the overlap is. The next overlap is between the Pisces, the Aquarius and Pisces. So Aquarius is overlapping with the goat, or the water bearer is overlapping with the goat, but the water bearer is also overlapping with the fish. But it's only 2-degree overlap here. A little bit less, but around 2, but there's about a 2-degree overlap between the fish and the water bearer, and that happens at 17 to 19 Pisces, tropical Pisces, which would probably be closer to 18 to 20 now. And if you have a planet in that degree, then you're in this overlap space where you've got both influences there. And in the sidereal zodiac, it's 2230 to 2430 of Aquarius. Just a 2-degree overlap. And then again, then there's a space between Pisces and the Ram, but between the Ram and the Bull, there's a 1-degree overlap, 15 minutes of a degree, just a slight overlap. And that's at 20 degrees, 21 degrees of Taurus, tropical zodiac, 2530 to 2545 of the sidereal zodiac. So we're seeing that there's constellations, there's spaces between them, and there's overlaps. This makes a much more sophisticated zodiac of space, but we're not interpreting for the light increasing, darkness increasing as which constellation has an influence, which story, which myth is affecting the chart. It takes up to another level interpreting, and it's quite wondrous the things you can read and study on that level. I don't try and use them the same thing at all as the tropical signs. Okay, now this is this chart was done in 1975. This is a newer chart. This was done in can I see it here? Was it in the 80s or 90s? How can I go? Let's see. I can't see it. I've had it a long time. Might have been in the 80s. Nope. It might have been 79 even. It might have been a few years later. But I made this. This is a more, let's just say, a more elegant chart. It has the constellations around. I just put the place for the signs in it are curved so they fit in with the circle. It was just more of an artistic thing, but the constellations are still there. The sidereal zodiac is not as wide. The sidereal zodiac is here, but it's, I gotta make this bigger. 1 second. There's gotta be a way of increasing this. No. See. Why isn't it here? Okay, well, you'll see, we're going to see this in a more detailed diagram, but you'll see there's 2 degree grids on this chart. There's the inside wheel, which is a tropical zodiac with its degree grid. Okay, average, so it's going around this northern hemisphere, it's going around counterclockwise. The zodiac, there's another degree grid outside of that. And you'll see what I did is the feminine signs are marked, and the tropical signs have a black line on the outside of it. So you can see a white band and a black band on the degrees. And this on the sidereal zodiac, the feminine signs are given the dark band too. So the 2 areas, these wheels join, and you'll see, like if you look at Aquarius Capricorn, you'll see the sidereal Capricorn is overlapping the tropical Capricorn a little bit. You see where they overlap, where the 2 are. This is the procession of the ages that shows, but you can begin to see, navigate. But in smaller letters, they have the seasons, the tropical zodiac, the sidereal zodiac is measured in smaller signs. So you can look at it if you want it. You can look closer and you can see it, and you can translate over to the sidereal zodiac. But you can more clearly see the constellations, which are given the name of the animals or the mythology, and you see the dark places where there's space in between, and the dark lines on the outer circle on the 2nd degree grid, and this straight line around the degree grid where they overlap, just a straight line going off the degree a little bit. So the outer degree, we're used to using 1 degree, so you really just you put things in by your degree, and then you just can extend the lines out, and you can see where they fit on these other zodiacs. Okay, and on this wheel down below, they have the planets Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus. Mars is put in an old way. Like originally, Venus was across below, Mars was across above. So being into symbols and having to visit, I had done that way. Now it doesn't. You would see more the circle with the Mars arrow on it now. Okay, so this is just a better drawing. And on this drawing also, in the tropical side, you have the I Ching, which measures the increasing light and darkness around the cycle in the wheel as well. So it says the constellations, the sidereal zodiac, the tropical zodiac, the I Ching, and your chart in the middle of it. Now, these are some closer views. Well, we're going to look at 3 signs at a time. How are we doing for time? Good. Okay, we've got another half hour, and then we got to switch to the age of Aquarius and when it actually begins. When you're marking the ages, you take the spring equinox and the tropical zodiac, the Aries to Pisces point, and it moves backwards against the stars. And as it moves backwards against the stars, it goes through various constellations. So it's going through Pisces now. It will be going into the constellation of Aquarius when the Aquarian age begins. It was in the age of the Ram and the age of the Golden Bull before that. So even in the Bible, there's all sorts of remarkable stories where you have the age of the golden calf, and they broke up and it was replaced by, and then you have the ram, the slaughtering of the ram, and then you have the Piscean fish, and Jesus wore the fish and things. So right now you see on the right hand side here, there's a 0 point, the equinox, the vernal equinox, and you see where it is. It's in this is the constellation of the fish, sidereal Pisces. On the top you have the divisions of where the sidereal signs are. On the bottom you have the tropical signs. So we can see the vernal equinox comes up here. It's in the sidereal Pisces. It's in the constellation of Pisces, but it's just at the, this is one of the fish, this open area, but it's just in that area. You can draw it up, but that's where it was in 1976. Now it's moved a little bit over a bit more. It's moved a degree or so further from this, or almost a degree. Okay, sorry, disruption. Okay, I'm vulnerable to having the door. When the door goes, I got to get it. Okay, so okay, so you see, so we'll see the tropical Aries down on the bottom half here. It goes up and includes most of the fish and some of this empty space. But the sidereal Pisces is there. So if your sun's in tropical Aries, you're going to be in the most likely, except for the last few degrees, you'll be in the constellation of fish. And in 21st, 25 degrees of Aries, you'll be in the sidereal Pisces. So if you meet a siderealist, they say, well, you're not an Aries, you're the Pisces. And they'll try and interpret, well, I'm really that. And you try and see how you're that. But really, it's different frequencies. They're both there in some way. But we've studied the tropical signs, so we watch each category. We watch it come through. We're solid in understanding the tropical. The other stuff is other factors. They're add-ons on top of. Okay, so then we have the tropical. So on this one, you see the equator here is put on where these are above the equator. So like the astronomers, you see equator as a straight line. We have the ecliptic as the middle line here, where the sun goes along the center line, and the planets tend to go along within 7 or 8 degrees. They're going along this band and are going through these constellations up high or down low, where they go through these every time they go around. So getting an astronomy sense, it's a nice thing, but it takes a number of years to get your sense of astronomy from your chart. You're starting just a symbol, looking at it, you're seeing the connections in nature, and slowly begin to develop a sense of how it relates to astronomy and to stars and things around us. But again, you can see there's an empty area here. Then there's the constellation of the Ram. It's in sidereal Aries, but it's in tropical Taurus. So this is just showing you in the greater detail what's going on with it. And there's the bull, big constellation. There's the bull's eye. And right now, so you could say that tropical Aries, northern hemisphere tropical Aries, have the fish over. So they may be the impulsive Aries, but they're a little more complicated or fishy. They have a fishy or Piscean element to it. And the tropical Taurus have northern hemisphere Taurus would have a ram or have a more pushy element to them, or assertive element to it. Whereas the tropical Gemini, with its curiosity and its ideas, might have a bullish determination around when they know what they're right and know what they're doing. They could have a bullish side to them. Okay, so this was just taking the season up to the summer solstice, and you can see where it divides. There's no constellations right at the solstice. Simple little drawings. I gained a lot from knowing these drawings, but it just takes to use them and use the information. I didn't try to use it that fast. I just let this information settle in, and I know that it's there, and I grew into these things. Now,